everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, hi, this is Jeriz, and for today's video, I decided to take inspiration from RawBeautyKristi's yellow eye makeup look using the ColourPop Honey eyeshadow palette, but I am going to use a different eyeshadow palette, so you can recreate it too, as long as you have the shades that we're going to use for today. So if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. Okay, let's start. So first I'm going to moisturize my face using the Saem Jeju Fresh Aloe Soothing Gel, and then I'm going to mix 1 pump of the Bilena All Day Liquid Foundation in Oriental, and then just a tiny squeeze of the Lamuseland BB Cream in Natural Beige, and I'm mixing it using the handle of my eyeshadow brush. Then I'm applying it onto my face. And then I'm going to use a kabuki brush to blend the product using tapping and buffing motions. And since I still have some left on the back of my hand, I'm also going to put foundation onto my neck so that they match. And then I'm going to use a beauty sponge to pat in the product to remove any brush streaks. And then after that, I'm going to apply the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in number 20 Sand in the inner and outer corners of my under eye. In the middle of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, on the sides or corners of my nose, and on the corners of my mouth, since I have discoloration in those areas. And I'm only going to use a dry wedge sponge to blend this out. And since I also wanted to highlight my under eye area and my forehead and down the bridge of my nose, I am taking the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer in number 23 Warm Sand to brighten everything. So I'm just applying a dot in the inner and outer corner of my under eyes, just a dab on my forehead, and then a little bit down the bridge of my nose, and blending it with the dry wedge sponge. And since I have a lot of concealer in my under eye area, I decided to drag it onto my eyelids to act as a primer for the eyeshadow later, but you'll see me apply more of that Essence Camouflage Concealer later. Alright, so now we are going to set the face using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Powder in number 220 Beige. And I'm just patting my under eye area to get rid of any creasing. And then using the puff that comes with the powder compact, I'm going to press in the product everywhere where I applied the concealer. And then for the rest of my face, I'm just using a big powder brush to set. Alright, it's time to bake! So I'm going to use the Cool Betty Natural Soft Pink Flawless Loose Powder to bake because I am oily AF. Now for the brows, we are using the Etude House Drawing Eyebrows in the shade Dark Brown. And I just comb my brow hairs in place using the spoolie that comes with this eyebrow product. And then I started drawing on my brows at the base and then filled in the tail first and then slowly drag the color into the front of my eyebrows. I'm just going light-handed with this one because it is pigmented, but it's kind of waxy and I didn't want too much wax on my eyebrows because it can clog the pores and it can cause shedding of eyebrow hairs, and I didn't want that. Alright, so I just filled my eyebrows in, and I'm not gonna set this with any brow gel because there is wax in this product and I'm gonna let it do its thing of holding up my eyebrow hairs. Now onto the eyes, and if you want to see RawBeautyKristi's video, I'm going to link it down in the description box. Alright, so taking the Essence Camouflage Matte Concealer, I'm dotting a little bit on my eyelids and blending it out with my fingers, then setting it with the Fit Me powder I used earlier. Alright, and I told you that I'm going to use a totally different palette for this one. So I'm taking the Beauty Glazed Color Fusion Eye Palette and using a fluffy blending brush, I'm taking this bright yellow shade onto my crease and onto my eyelids. Pretty much blending it everywhere, and I am slowly building up this color until I get the payoff that I want. And now I'm taking this darker, more mustardy shade of yellow, and I'm also blending it everywhere where I blend the first shade that we had earlier. And I'm going to continue building up and blending this color onto my crease and my eyelids until I get the intensity or the depth that I want. I want this yellow to be a darker yellow, so I am just putting it onto the crease and onto the eyelids, and then the yellow that we had earlier, I took it a bit higher on the crease. So now taking the Sace Lady Highlight and Contour Palette and an angled blending brush, I dipped it onto the middle shade, a contour shade. It is a cool tone brown, and I am putting it on the outer V and then blending it onto my crease as well. Now this particular product is hard to build up, so I went back and forth a lot of times on that shade until I decided to wet the brush before applying that same eye color. So when I wet the brush, the color showed up, but it was already hard to blend. So what I did, I just packed the color into the outer V of my eyes, and then I took a smaller detailed brush and dipped it into the same color from the highlight and contour palette, and then blended the edges of the color that I laid on the outer V, and then dragged the color onto my crease as well. It's actually very hard to blend, but you gotta do it. And then I went back onto the angled blending brush and winged out that outer V shade that we have so that it would look like a cat eye. Okay. It really took time to build this color up, oh my goodness. And now going back to the fluffy blending brush and the yellow mustardy shade, I am just sandwiching those colors together. So I'm blending on top of that brown shade that we had earlier so that it will look a bit more diffused and yeah, sandwiched together. So now for the eyelid shade, I'm taking this metallic yellow shade onto my finger, but then I decided to use a shader brush, and then I wet it using my moisturizing spray gel from the Miniso brand, and then I applied it in the inner half of my eyelids. So I went a few times with this color to get the intensity that I want, and then I went back to the angled brush that we use for the outer V, dipped it back to the Stace Lady contour palette, and then just blended the edge of that metallic shade that we applied so that it will appear seamless or gradient or continuous. And then I went back to the metallic shade with my finger again just to intensify the lid shade that we have. Okay, I love this color. It's pretty. Alright, so now I'm dusting off the powder that we used to bake. And now I am going to use a smaller pencil brush and dipping it into the mustardy yellow shade and then applying it onto my lower lash line, just buffing it there and slowly building it up until I get the intensity that I want. And now going back to the angled brush, I'm dipping it back to that contour shade from the Stace Lady palette and then also buffing that color onto the lower lash line. And now taking this flat, small, detailed brush, I'm dipping it into the middle shade and then the third shade on the Stace Lady palette, and then I'm just putting the product close to my lower lashes. And now we are going to line our eyes. I'm not good at this. This eyeliner, I got this when I was in China, so I'm not really sure what the brand is, but I'm taking the thinner felt tip applicator to draw the line. And what I did, I just went close to my lash line and just kind of laid or pressed the applicator, and then I mapped out the wing, like how long the wing is or how long I want the wing to be. And then I connected it to the line that I laid close to my lash line. So I tried to make this as thin as I can because again, I'm not a pro. If you saw my first video, I avoided putting liquid eyeliner because I'm not good at it. Okay, so now using a smaller, more detailed brush, I dipped it into the metallic yellow shade, wet the brush, and then applied it into my inner corners and into the inner half of my lower lash line. Again, the aegyo. And now using the Caroline Play to Slay eye palette or face palette, I use the highlighting shade to make the inner corner highlight brighter, and then I just curled my lashes and applied mascara. This is the same mascara I used in my previous video, so you already know what it is, but I'm going to put all the products I use down in the description box as well. I'm just using the length brush, but to be honest, this mascara only has one brush. They're just different with the length and with how much product it allows you to put on your eyelashes. So I'm also putting some on my lower lash line just to define the brow, or no, the eyelash I have there. Eyelash because it's so thin. Eyelashes. So now I am using the volume wand. So the difference between the length brush and the volume brush is that with the length brush, this specific one goes into a smaller tube that allows you to get rid of excess mascara or excess product. Whereas in the volume one, it doesn't have any tube that helps it get rid of the mascara or the product. So now I am taking the Say Lady Highlight and Contour palette and using a blush brush because I don't have any other brush. I dip it into the middle shade that we used earlier for the eyeshadow, and then used it to contour I used it to contour. What am I saying? But I'm not really into contouring. I'm more of a bronze kind of girl, so I had a hard time blending this one or trying to get it look the same on both sides. So yeah. Alright, so I just contoured on where you would usually contour. So the hollows of your cheeks, on the temples, your hairline, or your forehead to make it smaller. But if I had a bronzer, I would use a bronzer. I don't know, I just prefer it. Alright, so for blush, I am taking the Caroline Play to Slay face palette and I used the eyeshadow shade there. It's a corally shade. And then for highlight, I used the KathleenLightsxColourpop, the Zodiac palette. I believe I'm using the Libra or no, I think that's the Cancer. I'm using the Cancer and I used the foundation brush that I have, the flat foundation brush, to apply it. And then for the lips, I'm just taking the Maybelline Baby Lips Tinted Lip Balm in Cherry Kiss because I like it and I think it would go well with this makeup look. So that's it.
Okay guys, so this is the finished look. Actually, I really liked how this look turned out. Even though nagkaroon tayo ng struggle dun sa outer corner sa pagbibigay ng depth doon sa look, but we achieved it. And then first time ko ring subukan yung Lamuseland BB cream, and I mixed it with the Bilena All Day Liquid Foundation, and I really like that combination. Usually itong foundation na to, it is more yellowy or a little bit darker than my skin tone, pero nakatulong yung BB cream sa paglighten. And then ang isang bagay lang na hindi ko nagustuhan actually is the Says Lady Contour and Highlight Palette. I didn't like it for my face kasi I don't know, kasi I prefer bronzer over contour talaga. I don't contour. I lean more on bronzing kasi mas gusto ko yung look ng bronzed, fresh, glowy face rather than talagang chiseled. Ayun. Pero maganda siya doon sa eyeshadow part. Although talagang mahirap siyang i-build up yung color niya. Kailangan ko pang basain yung brush na ginamit ko para magkaroon siya ng pigment o para mag-show off yung pigment niya. Kaso, mahirap nang i-move, mahirap nang i-blend once na natuyo na yung in-apply mong wet eyeshadow doon sa outer corner or kahit mismo sa eyelid mo. So, yun lang talaga yung naging struggle, but I really like how this look turned out. With the lips, I opted for the tinted lip balm kasi tingin ko mas okay siyang tingnan. Since this look is like a more summery, pang summer na look talaga. If you enjoyed this tutorial, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you get notifications every time I post. And please leave a comment on what kind of makeup look you would like to see next here on my channel. So thank you again guys for watching this video and see you again next time. Bye bye!